Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids. Watch this video before you pull your shards today. Or if you pulled your shards today already, well, actually some good news. This is looking a lot better. Way better than I expected. I am actually blown away in an extremely positive way. Could this be Plarium actually doing good changes to fusions for once? Has it actually happened? Is this a new Plarium? Or what is going on here? But like, please, more of this. Only 1,550 points to get the epic fragments in the Champion Chase. Now, let me show you why I'm so excited and also some stuff to be aware of. So, this setup for a fusion. In Thor's fusion, we're having a Champion Chase, a Summon Rush, and a bonus Summon Rush for 50 fragments. The same thing happened with the Incarnate. With the Incarnate, however, it started with a Summon Rush, which was 3,000 points for 6 Sacreds. Now, the Champion Chase, which is what we have here for Thor for 1,550, in the Incarnate Fusion, that was 3,000 points. It's, like I said, this is a really positive move from Plarium to make this so much cheaper. I think this is brilliant, honestly. Really, really good. I mean, because there's no question, right? Thor is so much more useful than the Incarnate. It's not even funny, but her points are way higher. To do her Champion Chase, you'd need 29 Voids. Now, it was 2x Voids. That would be 11 Sacreds if it was 2x Sacreds. Now, it wasn't 2x Sacreds. It was 2x Voids. This is just to illustrate. But yeah, it was 29 Voids, which is a big chunk. Now, for the bonus Summon Rush, because we're probably wondering about that. Now, this happened early in the Incarnate Fusion. But the one in the Thor fusion is happening at the end. The Incarnate fusion was 2,850 for 25 fragments, and then 4,550 for another 25. So that would require 5.7 or 9.1 sacreds total. So you can see, in the case of the Incarnate fusion, if you were to do the Summon Rush with Sacreds, and let's say it was a 2x Sacred Champ Chase like we have here, with the points in the Incarnate Fusion, it would have cost you 17 Sacreds to get the Fusion. Whereas if you did it all in the bonus Summon Rush and you skipped these two events, it would only cost you 9.1, which is a massive saving. You're saving 8 Sacreds in the difference. It's absolutely huge. And this is sort of what I was expecting, actually, be making a video about this morning. Now with Thor, it's a bit different. So Thor, the Champion Chase, only 1,550. That's only 5.5 Sacred. So I would recommend pulling 5 Sacreds. If you got lots, you could pull 6. Go a bit above and beyond if you wanted. Or you could just pull 5 and get the other points from doing Champion training, which is on right now. You're going to get some drops, some campaign, blah, blah, blah. You could maybe do an epic fusion for some guaranteed points or something like a Broadmaw fusion. But you could skimp a good bit on these 5.5 Sacreds and actually get away with it. So that's the really good news. They've actually made this really good. So I am delighted by that. Not too bad. Now, we're guessing about the others. But let's guess that the Summon Rush is 3,000 points. I mean, if they continue on like this, the Summon Rush might be cheaper. If they're going to do a genuinely good fusion, 3,000 points... I'd say even 3,500 has been fairly standard recently. But I mean, they could go down to 2,000. They could. They could have it be only 4 Sacreds or something. They probably won't, but they could. And that would be great. But we don't know. This is guesswork. Let's assume for now about 6 Sacreds. So you'd be looking at about 11.5 to do this Thor fusion. If we say it's 7, right? It could be as high as 10, but I think that's pretty unlikely. Either way, it's significantly cheaper than the standard they set with the Incarnate. But you're probably looking at about 11 or 12 Sacreds, I think, to do it. Now, if you were to do just the bonus Summon Rush, and again, we don't know how high the points are going to be for that, but let's assume they're the same as the Incarnate one. 5.7 for the 25, 9.1 for the other one. I mean, the bonus 25 is actually... If they stick with these numbers, it's basically the same, right? As getting 25 fragments from the Champ Chase or Summon Rush. And then the extra 25 there are actually decent value. But it's not a crazy value shift. I think with the Incarnate, if you did just the bonus Summon Rush, you saved yourself 8 Sacreds, which is crazy. With Thor, if we assume these points are correct, which is, again, to reiterate, big question marks, this is speculation. But if that is the case, you're looking at 11.5 versus 9.1. It's 2 more sacreds possibly for this. Again, this could be cheaper. Who the heck knows? So I think it's not looking too bad. It actually looks like you could possibly do anyway. Hopefully this is how it stays. But yeah, I think it's actually looking quite decent. You are flexible to do what you want. In which case, for me, I think I will definitely go for this because I'm just going to be safe. Now, the bigger question would be, could there be something else included in this bonus summon rush? Or is it going to be a pure bonus summon rush with fragments? I'm guessing it is just going to be a pure summon rush with fragments because we've got a bunch of stuff that could come in the future. So these are big things that could also come. Number one, a Titan event is decently likely, right? There's always events during downtimes between fusions. Is there a big flagship thing to go in the Titan event? I think yes. A 5-star Thor Soul. There could be a hero's path for this. 2x Voids would be sort of due up next. That could happen, or it could be Soul Stones. You could see a Summon Rush. There's also a Deck of Fate for Freya. Deck of Fate could be part of the Titan event. Deck of Fate could be after the Titan event. There might not be a Titan event. They could do a Hero's Path one weekend and a Deck of Fate the next. Let me show you a calendar. This is where we are. This is where we are. So right now, we are on the 6th, right? So this first green section, this is Thor Fusion. Yeah, well, I won't type it up, but it's the Thor Fusion is the green. Now, yellow, this here is 2x Sacreds. Next weekend, we know this is going to be a Summon Rush. So let me put in Summon Rush here. And for clarity's sake, let me actually change this Summon Rush so it's not conflicting with Voids to red as well. So we've got Champion Chase 2x Sacreds this weekend. Next weekend, we've got a Summon Rush. And then we've got a Summon Rush. And that's where the fusion ends. In fact, I can probably delete this bit here. The fusion ends there. Now, what I would be thinking is right after that, the Thursday, or maybe on Friday, maybe on the Friday, that could be when we see basically a Titan event kick off, right? Friday, Saturday, Sunday, kind of likely. Let's actually move that down a little bit, make it a bit more obvious. And let me extend this a small bit. Extend this a small bit. I think I've got those dates right. But yeah, so there's always summon events on the weekend. So the question is, what happens on the 20th, 21st, 22nd? It's bang after a bonus summon rush. So this right here, this could be a Deck of Fate. This could be a summon rush. It's sort of due to be 2x Voids, which I've put in, but they could do anything. So we could genuinely see this right here 2 weekends from now. That could be Deck of Fate for Freya, and that could be part of a Titan event for a Thor Soul. That could definitely happen. Alternatively, something different could happen, and there might be no Titan event. We might see a Hero's Path here, and then a Deck of Fate this weekend. Again, we're very likely to see some sort of summoning event again this weekend. There's always summoning events every weekend. So I think that's what it's looking at between the fusions. I think then it's quite likely we've got a bit of downtime at the start of October. I think the next fusion for October is pretty likely to be running from like the 3rd to the 15th. It gives us sort of a 2-week gap before it kicks off between the Thor fusion, right? 19 to 26, 26 to the 3rd. Then we can have fairly standard fusion length, couple of week gap. And then we could have the October fusion, the Halloween fusion, actually starting on the 31st of October, which seems pretty appropriate. So I think, to me, that looks fairly likely. But let me know what you think. Now, we also know the Asgard stuff does continue in here. So we are, again, I would say, fairly likely to see we could have stuff over here, right? We could absolutely have stuff over here. This could be where a Freya Deck of Fate also is. This would be sort of the last hurrah for the Asgard Divide event. I think it ends at the end of October. So this is, I think we're quite likely to see like 10x's and 15x's for the Asgard Divide champions. Get them, blah, blah, blah. Maybe some of their souls up for grabs, that sort of stuff. I don't know. But I think it's more likely we see Thor events over here between the fusions. And yeah, I would, again, prepare for that. Be my advice to really, really prepare for that. And we're actually going to pull my shards now in a second, but I think Thor is phenomenal. I think he's going to be huge for most people. Wow, people are rating him really low. That's crazy to me. I think he's way better than that. I've been very impressed with Thor. I think he's going to be a top tier damage dealer for most of you. Now, some of you, if you're a big whale or kraken, you probably have better damage dealers. Like it's certainly possible. But I think a lot of players, Thor's going to go into at least one of your Hydra teams, almost no question. The guy's an absolute beast. I'm fairly sure he's going to go into my Brutal team. I'm going to be trying him instead of Turvold, especially if I can get a 5-star soul for Thor. I only have a 2-star for Turvold, so for me, it'd be brilliant. I definitely want to get the 5-star soul for Thor. And here's another quick question. Nub, let's say Deck of Fate for Freya is a separate thing, and you've got to decide, do you use your shards and souls or whatever, use your resources for a 5-star Thor soul, or do you go for Freya? Honestly, I might actually go for Thor's soul over Freya, because I think Thor benefits a lot. I think he benefits a lot, right? The damage blessing gets better. You're going to give him Nature's Wrath. That improves at 3 and 5-star. Like 1, 3, and 5-star gets better. 6-star on Thor with Crushing Rend could be insane, especially if they ever nerf Trunda. It would be massive to upgrade him eventually to 6-star. So yeah, it's something I'm considering. Whereas with Freya, I'm going to do a showcase of Freya, and maybe I'll change my mind. But my thought right now is I would value getting Thor and the Thor soul more than I would value getting Freya. But you guys might disagree. And it depends where you are in the game. Like, I have lots of supports that do similar stuff to Freya. Like, I've got, I think, Elatrion Blade Master is the one I keep going back to, who literally has her kit almost. He's got the cleanse, the block debuffs, doesn't have the turn meter boost, increased defense and a shield. You know, he's very similar. But yeah, so that's sort of where we're at. But just to give you a concept of where things might go and what to be prepared for, potentially. But I would be guessing the Thor Soul comes, I think, probably fairly quick at one of the weekends, most likely, after the Thor fusion. Right, let's go pull some shards. Maybe we get Freya right here. She is in the 10x. It's unlikely, but you never know. Let's go. We're going to do, I think, 5 sacred shards. Do we believe it's an epic to start? I don't know if there's any regular epics that I really need anymore. Some of the good ones for Cursed City to empower or build duplicates. It's a legendary. Is it her? No! It's almost her. It's a barbarian. It's a chick with a lightning axe. We got ourselves a Kantra the Cyclone. Okay. Kantra, she had a moment where she was very good for Hydra. Because, you know, with the 75% chance to revoke an enemy under 5 debuffs at the start of her turn. So, you know, every time she's taking a turn, she can provoke Head of Decay. It's pretty good. Now, the problem you run into is 75 means a 25% chance not to provoke. And that can be absolutely rough. And, you know, she will fail quite frequently. So, yeah, it actually ends up being, I'm not a huge fan of Kantra, honestly. And I kind of prefer, especially nowadays with power creep and gear and whatnot, I prefer running even 3-turn provokers like Krisk or Vizix and running them very fast so they can actually lap around. And you can somewhat easily nowadays, if your end game, build your speed tune where a 3-turn provoker can perma provoke the Head of Decay. With like, they still have the 3% chance to resist, but then again, so does Kantra. So yeah, but she was pretty cool. She's definitely a good budget option, puts out lots of debuffs. She can provoke, but for me, don't use her anymore, unfortunately. She's good for some Cursed City stuff as well. Can we get another one? It's 2x Sacreds. Maeve? Maeve? I think she's bad. Sakara's sister? I think she's not good. I don't think you ever use Maeve. I'm pretty sure. Sorry, Maeve. Looks kind of cool, but no. Can we get... Oh, no, it's an epic. Okay. Chani. Again, another champion I think you don't really use. Self-buffs and can attack. AoE. Increases all debuffs on a 3-turn. That's actually not bad. Chani's maybe not so bad. Gives her crit rate for accuracy. It's kind of interesting. And she does self-buff increase accuracy. So you could build her with like low crit rate, self-buff increase accuracy, and maybe a little bit clunky. I don't see where I would use her, but she's kind of interesting. Okay. This might be the last shard. Am I tempted to pull one more? Oh, it's a legendary. I think we stop here. Oh, God. It's another bad one. Oh, Norog is so bad, dude. Oh, poor Norog. One of the worst legendaries in the game. AoE block buffs for 2 turns on a 3-turn. Ugo is better than this champion. It's embarrassing. An epic leaves him in the dirt. Ugo is so much better. Decreased defense block buffs. Ugo also has an AoE heal with a bit of a cleanse. A1, an okay chance for block active skills. His passive is kind of nice. He's immune to some crowd control, but not all. Not all. They've added more since then, but he hasn't been updated. And then he decreases the damage ally takes if they've got no buffs by 25%. That's actually pretty cool. If they do have buffs, he decreases their damage by 15%. It's a cool passive, but let's be honest, Norog, it feels like he's missing a second debuff on this move, and it feels like he's missing an A3. Norog is so far behind the times. It's bad. Actually, you know, we might go a little bit further. We got 2 legendaries. We might push for a legendary book, will we? We've got her. So I got what? Okay, we're at 1750. No, I think we'll stop there. We've overshot a little bit by getting a legendary. We've got an extra 250 points more than we wanted to. I think I'm happy enough to stop there. I guess you'd also need 50 green shards on top of your regular 5 sacreds if you got epics, but or yeah, I don't know. Anyway, whatever. I'm happy enough. We've overshot the points a little bit, but I think I'm gonna stop. Like a 5-star chicken, I don't care about. The legendary tome is nice, but I think I'd rather save. Again, remember, the average points for a Sacred Shard in this 2x Champ Chase, the average points is 280. I just got extra lucky there, which is why we're a bit beyond. Yeah, like 280. We're looking at 4-ish Sacreds to get a Legendary Tome, which for you might be worth it. For me, I think I'd rather stockpile and save up. Again, because I am just bearing in mind future events, right? Potentially this Summon Rush does have a good, I don't think it will, but maybe a good reward. But definitely afterwards, I want to have as strong a stockpile of stuff as I can for the Thor Soul to make it as easy as possible and make the Summon Rush next weekend as easy as possible. So yeah, I'm pretty likely. It leaves me in now a good spot. I think this is such a great event. Again, to reiterate, I think that this is very doable. And by the way, you could also save your Sacreds. You could do this with just, fusing up Broadmaws. You could even do it with Ancient Shards. It's not the worst. You could get this done pretty easily. And that leaves you very flexible to skip events in the future. So I am surprisingly impressed. Looks like Glimred got the exact same number of points as me. Congrats. Hope you got better at legendaries. So yeah, looks pretty cool. In terms of Faction Guardian, so Kantra, I already have a duplicate Kantra. We could +2 her, but is there a point? I don't know. But that extra Kantra is doing literally nothing. We might as well +1 the Kantra. We might as well. And then if we get a second one, we might as well +2 her. Or, we could remove one champ entirely from this and put in an extra Kantra, but there's no point in that. I think we would just empower her with this one. We might as well empower Kantra. But I might save that for another video, empowering some legendaries. For the Skinwalkers, oh, this might actually... Oh, this is actually good. Norog, terrible champion. We will take the +10 speed. Look at it. We have so many Norogs. So we could +2 our Norog at some point. I mean, if I get another duplicate, we might... I don't know, we might +2 him for the sake of it. But I don't see me ever using him. But hey, my Skinwalkers just got a heck of a lot faster. That's actually really, really nice. Skinwalkers. Let's see. Which ones of these do I use? Quite a few. Well, yes, more speed on Sun Wukong. Lovely. Gwendolyn, actually kind of underrated. She's pretty good. Bambus, underrated as well, though I don't actually use him. Acorn, more speed. Yes. Oh, more speed on Ragash. That's delightful. I do use Ragash a bit. More speed on Nishak. Razzlevarg. Uko. Juicy. Then I've got Brachus. We've got the Norog. Yikes. Cleopteryx, also not super useful. Yeah, there we go. Thanks for watching, everybody. Let me know what your summoning plans are, and I will see you next time. No Freya for me. 2 legendaries, no Freya. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.